Okay, so we are in Oxenden Street now, which is just off the Haymarket, and we're by the stage door of the Harold Pinter Theatre. I'm going to tell you the story of someone else who is involved in the thespian world, who is intrinsically linked with Oxenden Street. Now, this is the story of filmmaker, actor, director, all-round good guy, Kenelm Foss. Now, he had been to New York during the Prohibition back in the 20s, and he had seen how coffee shops and sandwich bars had proliferated. When you couldn't go and buy a whiskey and soda, what are you going to do after you've been out with your date? You're going to go and have like a ham on rye or something, aren't you, and a nice cup of coffee and discuss the show you've just been to. So he saw that all these coffee shops were opening in the States, and he thought that might be quite a nice idea to have in central London. So in this street he set up something called Sandy's Sandwich Bar, and it was open 24 hours. It attracted all the usual London night owls. It attracted actresses, actors, dancers, people who work late, shift workers, cabbies, a real smorgasbord of London late night workers. The Weekly Dispatch called it a place where women in gorgeous gold cloaks sit on high stools and rest their feathered fans on the bar counter, while their escorts sit holding their silk hats, waiting for their sandwiches of choice. Sounds a great spot, doesn't it? But what is so lovely about Sandy's and what makes Ken such a hero is, go back in time, go back to the 20s and 30s, it was still against the law to be gay, yeah? And you could be arrested, frankly, for the way you dressed, for the way you walked, for flirting with someone. You know, it was horrible. People were criminalised on the basis of their sexuality. And at Sandy's, he was having none of that, and it became somewhere where people could show up and basically be themselves. I mean, he was a really interesting man. J.K. Chesterton wrote the play Magic for him in 1913. He was the first director to bring Chekhov's Cherry Orchard to the UK. By about 1915, when the movie industry had kicked off, he went from theatre directing to film directing. He made an absolute swathe of movies, and he worked with Mary Pickford and Charlie Chaplin to write an acting manual. He wrote novels, he wrote poetry, he also wrote a really great biography of Turner. This bloke was a complete polymath. And as I say, 1925, just on the spot where this new monstrous Odeon is, he set up Sandy's, and it became a chain. As well as being a film director, novelist, poet, stage director, impresario, he was also a champion of equal rights. I take my hat off to you, Ken.